Hi guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Children of Blood and Bone, and this is by Tomi Adeyemi. This has come out in the UK on the 8th of March and I was really lucky to be sent a proof copy of this book. So I'll put a picture on the screen of the finished copy, so that'll be what it looks like when it's sold in shops. So like I said, this is a proof copy of it that I was kindly sent by Macmillan. So this is a YA fantasy novel and it's the first novel in what I believe is going to be a trilogy, and it is inspired by African history and mythology, and it focuses around three characters. The first of those characters is Zelie, and at the beginning of the novel it focuses around her character and the fact that her mother was killed when magic was eradicated from this particular world. And she's growing up in a world where there is no magic anymore, and she remembers as a young child her mother being killed, but also the magic that her mother had. And it also focuses around a character called Amari, who is the princess of this particular world, I suppose, and her brother Inan. And essentially Zelie is trying to get magic back into the world, so she comes across this particular item and she is kind of told how she can bring magic back into this world, and it focuses around that sort of quest, shall we say. But what it also focuses quite a lot around is the idea of racial oppression, and what it's basically doing in here is taking those who used to have magic and using them as almost like a representation of people who are racially oppressed in the modern world. So it's kind of looking at those kind of power dynamics and kind of the horrific things that people have been through in history as a result of this sort of oppression. And I thought it was really clever. I really enjoyed it. It's about 600 pages. This is a proof edition. I believe the actual edition is a little bit shorter than this, but the proof edition is about 600 pages. It's quite a long YA fantasy, but it didn't take me too long at all to read. I think I read it in sort of 3 or 4 days, something kind of along those lines. It's very fast paced. There's always something happening to keep your attention, yeah, it's full of suspense and kind of on the edge of your seat moments, which are really great. The reason why I love this so much is just because it's so different from a lot of other YA fantasy novels out there. So a lot of what other YA and sort of fantasy novels in general are set in what seem to be very Western backdrops, and this one takes something completely different. I really appreciate that different setting and that different viewpoint and the different things that we learn about this particular culture in here. I gave this 4 stars in the end. I thought it was brilliant. I'm really looking forward to picking up the next one. It ends on what I can only describe as a massive cliffhanger, and I sort of read the last page and exclaimed out loud because that was it and there was no more, and I was sort of sitting there thinking, I can't believe that was the last page. I don't know when the second one of this is going to come out. We'll probably have to wait about a year for it, but I'm really eager to pick it up and see where this story goes. But if you are into fantasy and YA fantasy and you fancy picking up something a little bit different and kind of seeing fantasy from a different point of view, I would definitely recommend this one, and like I said, I gave it 4 stars. So there you go guys, that was my review of Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I'd love to have a chat with you in the comments below. Have you read this book and what did you think of it? And are you interested in picking it up now? Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.